Okay, we're up to Daf Tes Amid Beis, Mamish, the last two words on the page. We saw yesterday that one of the ways of in the sugi of Yadois, if you would say Knidre Rishayim and say Hareini, you become a Nazir if there's another going in front of you. Knidre Rishayim Alai, and there's an animal in front of you, that animal will become a carbon. Knidre Rishayim Himena, and there is a kikar, there's a loaf of bread or some other object in front of you that's edible. That would be a shua you don't eat. That's by Knidre Rishayim. If you'd say Knidre Ksherim Lo Yoma Klum, because Ksherim, people that are of fine stature, they do not say Nedarim. However, Knidvaisam, if you'd say like the Nedava of a kosher, then L'inyan Naziris and Karbin it would work, not L'inyan Shua, because even if you're a kosher person, will make an Nedava, will not make a Shua. We spoke out beautifully yesterday, Ram. What's the difference by ksherim between a neder and a dava? We said that a neder, this is very nice to hear, really nice. Let's say you want to give something. So you'd say, Harei alai, it's upon me to bring a carbon. So you left out another step. You now have to go ahead and separate the carbon. That's a neder. When you say in a dava, you're saying Harei zu carbon, you skipped one step. You went directly to the source. It is more, the lashon of Chazal is merutza. It's more acceptable, the action you did, because you showed clearly that you want it to happen instantaneously. So therefore, by nedava, it would work as opposed to neder. It's a very nice ran to explain the difference between neder and nedava. I never thought of it that way. I know those are two ways to create a carbon, but it seems nedava is a much more chashva way. We had a machloikis between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir said it's better not to make any nedarim at all, even to make one and fulfill it. Rabbi Yehuda said it's good to make a neder and fulfill it. So he said neither one can be the Tana of our Mishnah, because our Mishnah makes a dechilik between neder and nedava. Apparently Rabbi Meir does not make such a distinction. So therefore, Rabbi Meir, it's shver. Nedava shouldn't work. The Gemara answered, Rabbi Meir said only by neder, he did not say by nedava. We're now going to go ahead and suggest that our Mishnah could even be according to Rabbi Yehuda, who says it's good to make a neder, it's good to make a nedava. Our Mishnah says nidrei ksherim doesn't work. Mashman and nedarim are not good, so we have to answer that up. So that's exactly where we're up to on Tes Amid Beis, B by Yisema. Now we're on Yud Amid Aleph. Afilu Tamer Rabbi Yehuda. You could say a Mishnah that says it's not good to make nedarim would come out according to Rabbi Yehuda. Kiyam Rabbi Yehuda. When does Rabbi Yehuda say his din that it's good to make? That's by nedava. But by neder, he doesn't say it. Question is, the pasuk in Koheles seems to be speaking about nedarim. What's better is to go ahead, make a neder and fulfill it, right? So he says lashon of neder, not nedava. On that, the Gemara answers, Tani noidev umekayim. Don't say neder umekayim, say noidev umekayim. The lashon of nedava and fulfill. So now we basically have Mishnah can be either according to Rabbi or Rabbi Yehuda. Now, Mishnah noida deloi. Why? Why is noida no good? Why would a koshedik person not make a neder? Because dilma asiba alidei takala. Maybe he won't fulfill what his words. We'll come to a takala. It won't happen. So nedav nami dilma asilidei takala. Maybe also will come to a takala. Maybe he'll separate a carbon and you'll be moil behegdish. Different things can happen. Says Rabbi Yehuda l'taimei. Rabbi Yehuda goes according to his reasoning. Damar adam mevi kivsasai la'azara. A person who could bring his sheep to the azara, and therefore right now there's nothing bad that can happen. Umakdisha, and then in the azara make it hegdish. The soimich aleha, and be soimich do smicha on the animal. The sheichta and shech the animal. Okay, so in other words, nedava, there's a way to avoid any possibility. Now, it's mashma, the whole problem here is me'ilah. The whole problem here is me'ilah. Okay, I'm just going to say this quickly outside for, I don't know, I'll say it anyway. There's a lot of ideas over here, but one of the ideas is that kachim kalim, such as shlomim, right? Such as shlomim, there's no me'ilah in the lifetime of the animal because it's mum and bailim, it belongs to the owner. In other words, if you would take a shlomim and go be mekadesh and isha, she'll be mekudeshes, because it belongs to you. If you would take a carbon oila and be mekadesh nisha, she would not be mekudeshes. It doesn't belong to you. The only animals that can be brought from a female are a chatas and a shlamim. no person can make an adava of a chatas. Like a chatas is a chiyuv. I did an avera. I can't say I want to bring a chatas. We just had that Gemara. It doesn't mean anything. So therefore, by the Gemara saying the word, a person's magdish his kivsa, which means the U as an EWE for Dr. Press, but EWE as a female sheep, then obviously this animal must be a shlamim. By the process of elimination, it must be a shlamim. So Fred Taisus, why would you have to worry about Me'ilah? Me'ilah is only after it's shechted. You could have been Mekadosh it at home, and there's no Me'ilah in Kachim Kalim. It's a beautiful kasha, guys. Again, with all that information, it's a beautiful kasha. Taisus says a chiddush nifla. He says even if there's no Me'ilah in a carbon, it's asa to work a carbon. I don't know what the gather is. He says it's asa the raisa to work the carbon. It's asa the raisa. I have to see the source. You hear this? It's asa the raisa to work a carbon. Even if you're not going to have to pay the penalty of a keren and a chomish and bring a carbon ashram ilos, still there would be an issa d'oraisa. It's a chiddush, but I like the guts of the sugya because the word kevesh is a very interesting thing. Why did he pick that one animal, right? Why did you pick that one animal? Just say his animal, right? Why that sheep? Why are you going ahead and being makbar on the sheep? So obviously, it must be to tell us this chiddush that there's an issa d'oraisa. But anyway, the lashon, it says lashon and mila. Again, it's a little shverlich, but again, I think it's a good conversation piece. Says Gemara Vayta, Teinach Nedarim the Karbonis. Very good. You explained why Nedarim the Karbonis is no problem according to Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore a kashadik person would make a Nedava. However, Nedarim and Naziris Ma'ik Lameimar. Guys, the Mishnah had said two dinim. Guys, look back to the Mishnah. Again, we medayik the lashon of the Mishnah. The third line down on page Tesam and Aleph. Third line down. Kinid Vaisam. Like the nedavis of ksherim, then neder, it's considered a good neder, one binazir and two bikarbon. So you explained to me the neder of a carbon that he would do it when he gets to the Beis Hamikdash, right? How do you explain the lashon of naziris that's acceptable? Why would that be a good lashon? So the Gemara wants to know the dumbest and naziris. What are you going to say? I guess, and why would it be negative? Any Nazir, you always have to worry he's going to be over something wrong. He's going to do something wrong. No, it's in the Kabbalah of the Naziris, there's nothing wrong. But the fact that you're in a state of Naziris, you always have to worry about drinking wine, eating grapes, or being with Tamal Mason. So what are you going to say? Yeah. So Rabbi Yehuda Tamei, Rabbi Yehuda goes according to his reasoning. The Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Chasidim harishonim hayimisavim lehevi korban chatas. Chasidim rishonim, the pious early people, they desired very much to bring a korban chatas. Lefi she'ena Kadosh Baruch Hu maybe takol al yedayim. Kadosh Baruch Hu will not bring a takol through them, and I guess they wouldn't have to worry then. Okay, now I have a little chap over here. There's two ways to learn, guys. Listen up. Listen up. I just thought that. Why would someone want to bring a korban chatas, right? Why would someone want to bring a korban? So let's see two pshatim. Let's see first the Rush. Says the Rush, no korban should be lacking from them. So my son asked me, he goes, if they want to bring a chatas, any other mitzvah, why any other mitzvah? They should want to do gerushin. In other words, the mitzvah to divorce your wife, so she get divorced. What's the difference? So look at the Ran. Look at the Ran. Rabbi Yehuda Tamei, 4 lines down. The Amar, the ksherim misavim lehevi karbonos shel chayva. They want to bring a chatas. They want to bring an asham. Umitoich kach heim noidrim benazir. Therefore, they made an neder benazir. The kivan shel kavana zu heim oisim mikre nedava. Since they did it with what? With kavana l'shem shemayim. That's called a nedava. So the Ran was saying, how's it shaykh and nedava by Naziris? He's learning pshat in the Gemara's kasha. How's it shaykh and nedava by Naziris? I know it's shaykh and nedava by a carbon. How's it shaykh by Naziris? So one who's mechad l'shem shemayim, even though it's the haste in nedava, it's called a nedava. I'm just thinking out loud. The Gemara seemed to say that what? that they want to bring a korban chatos. Why do they want to bring a korban chatos? Because they want to get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mis'ave, they want to get close to Hashem. In other words, it's not pshat they want to do every single mitzvah, even if it means getting divorced or anything that is saita. You want to, there's a mitzvah to bring your wife as a saita. So what? There's a mitzvah to go give kini and steer it to your wife, and she end up as saita? Of course not. It means since a korban, the shirish of korban is kuf reish vav karav to come close. They want to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whatever aspect of the korban ashram, wachatas, the chayva can bring, they want to be yitzit. Now, it's said in over here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to make a takala through them. So, Pashit Pshat, Hashem won't bring them, make them do an Aveira that would cause them to bring a chatas. Hashem would not want them to, in other words, why would they have to go ahead, why? And make an Naziris to bring a chatas, right? Even Naziris, you're bringing a chatas. That's what you're doing. A Naziris, you're bringing a chatas. In other words, every Nazir at the conclusion of his Naziris is going to bring a chatas and oil and a shlamim. So that's the way, the kashadik way he has of being a chatas. That's the kashadik way. That's the pshat now. So I was learning, maybe it's a krum pshat. I thought Nadav and Naziris is like, why aren't you worried that he's going to mess up the Naziris? Just like you're worried that by korban, you're worried. Why aren't you worried by Naziris that he's going to mess it up? So what's the Gemara answer? That since he's a tzaddik, Hashem will not bring a takala, not to bring the korban chatas. He's a tzaddik that he won't mess up the Naziris. I don't know if it's right pshat. In other words, if you learn the Gemara's kasha is that Nadav and Naziris ma'ik l'meimar, so what are you going to say that? So there's no difference in Neder and Nadava. So what is the answer to the kasha? The answer to the kasha is he's a tzaddik. He wants to bring a korban chatas. This is the only way he can bring a korban chatas. So if you say the takala is what's in other words, so therefore you would never have a hechet timtzah bringing a chatas. So therefore, the only way a chatas chaylev, right? Right, a chatas chaylev. The only way you can bring a korban chatas is through this. Or you can learn pshat that what was the Gemara's kasha? The Ran didn't learn this. What was the Gemara's kasha? The dove ma'ik l'meimar. Why aren't you worried he's going to do something wrong in the Naziris? And the answer is that he won't bring a takala through his hands. Again, I'm not sure. I think the first one is the right shot, but that entered my mind for a second. Okay, weiter. Says the Gemara. So therefore, so what would they do? So what would they do? They will go become Nazirim in order to go ahead and become Nazirim and bring a korban chatas. Again, so this is a kosher way of bringing a chatas. Reb Shimon says, Loi nidru benazir, Loi nidru benazir, Ela roitz lehevi oila misnadev umevi shlamim misnadev umevi. You can't make an neder. It's not good to make a neder benazir. Reb Shimon says, if a person wants to bring an adava, do it by an oila. You want to bring an adava, do it by a shlamim. We wanted maybe misnadev maybe toida. You want to bring what? The korban toida and the 4 sets of lechem that accompanies it, go ahead, umevi. Avul Naziris lo yisnadvu, but Naziris, you should not make an adav of Naziris, that you shouldn't be called a chaytin. In other words, even if you won't do anything wrong, the actual Kabbalah of Naziris is doing something wrong. Shenemar, what does it say by the Nazir? The Chipur love by Ma'ashachata ala nefesh. This is by Tameh, right? The Chipur love Ma'ashachata ala nefesh. It says that by the Nazir, that when the Nazir is Tameh, and then he's going to bring his chatas and his asham, it's going to be mechapeh for him. So you see that he needs a kapara, so it's called a chayta. So therefore, the Reb Shimon disagrees. Reb Shimon says that there is no such thing as an adav of Naziris that would work. Why? Because you're called a chayta, and therefore it's not an acceptable way of Naziris. Rabbi Shimon at Tzadik, Reb Shimon, Reb Elazar Kaper, Kula Shita Achasein. Reb Shimon at Tzadik, Reb Shimon, and Reb Elazar Kaper Ribi Gadladar. Kula shita achas. They all go in one shita. Now, who is Rav Shimon at Tzaddik, fellas? We met him yesterday. That he said he never ate the korban asham of a chayta except that one beautiful, handsome here laden nazir that came up from the south, right? That's the only one he ate because he was b'chav in the shem shemayim. So you see that he held any other naziris was a problem. Why? We said that if it's tamei, maybe what happens? He's a nazir for 30 days. On day 28, we said yesterday, for example, he all of a sudden realized he contracted tumas mace. It goes ahead and does away with his own naziris. He now has to go through the whole process of naziris again, and he'll regret. So therefore, Reb Shimon had tzaddik held, if he's going to regret, I can't eat this carbon. Maybe this carbon is ki'ilu chulim bazara. So therefore, you see, it's not a good thing. Reb Shimon just said it's not a good thing. You call the chayta. Who's Reb Elazar Hakip? Well, let's meet him. Now they all say b'shita achas. The nazar chayta. Ari Shimon tzaddik, Reb Shimon hodamaron. You just mentioned Shimon tzaddik. You mentioned he's called the chayta yesterday. Reb Shimon that we just said that what is called the chayta for the Mekabel Naziris. Reb Elazar Hakip of Rabbi the Tanya. Elazar Hakip very Oima. The chibur lo me'eshachata al nefesh. He is a nefesh chata. Zeh el shetziratz min hayayin. He's mitzay himself from wine. Well, itvarim kal v'chayna. Umazesh leitziratz min hayayin. Nikra chayta. Amitzar atzma mikol davar ra alachas kama v'kama. Mikan kol hayoshev b'tainis nikra chayta. Anyone who sits right, that is called a tainis. That sits betainis is called a chayta. Vadein kra, the pasuk is benazir. Okay, that's a kasha. Okay, so now you have. So we have three people. They're all saying the same thing, albeit from different sources. Reb Shimon at Tzaddik's source was the Nazir Tameh. Remember, guys, the carbon Asham is only by a Nazir Tameh. Reb Shimon and Rabbi Elazar Kipa is by a regular Nazir. Good. They brought the pasuk. What pasuk they bring? The Chiper. It says the pasuk says, "The Chiper love me'ashachat al nefesh." Good. So now here's the problem. Bishleim el Reb Shimon at Tzaddik, who was speaking about a Nazir Tameh. It makes sense you bring the chayta. Who needs a kapara? Is the Nazir Tameh. But like Reb Shimon and Rabbi Elazar Kappa, who's saying we're speaking about a Nazir chayta, a tahar's chayta. Why are you bringing a pasuk of what? Of Tameh? Why are you bringing that pasuk? That's speaking about a Nazir Tameh. It's a whole different Naziris, whole different problem in Naziris. So the Gemara Kasha, v'hadein kra bin Nazir Tameh ksev. The pasuk v'chiper Allah me'ashachat al nefesh is by Nazir Tameh, Kasha and Reb Shimon and Rabbi Elazar Kappa. And for the Gemara Mishum the Shana b'cheitu, because he was Shana b'cheit, he repeated the chet. Let's see Taisvis. The Shana b'cheit. How is he Shana b'cheit? Bitzar shal yayin ki chayzu umasro naziris. He's shana by repeating the fact that what? He now viter for another 30 days can't drink wine. Inami shana b'chet the yayin ubetuma. Not only that, now tuma also, in other words, now he has to be nizir b'tuma. So in other words, the fact that the halachas and the naziris apply for another 30 days, that's considered the chayta. That's considered the chayta, and that's where you get it from. Okay, very interesting Gemara. So comes out like this. Lamaskana. It's the machloikis in the Mishnah when it says the last line, a kinidrek sheirim loyama klum, because the kasha that the person will never make a neder. Kinid voisam, it's a neder by carbon and by naziris. Everyone seems to agree by carbon it's not a problem. By naziris, in fact, Shimon would say no. Even derech nedava, it would not be acceptable. So there's a Tana who holds it's not good. The Tana holds it's not good. That's good. Those are the shittas. So that concludes Yodais to Nedarim. Those includes Yodais to Nedarim. Now we began the Masechta and we said Kol Kinuye Nedarim Kinedarim. All Kinuyim. We said it's Lashon HaMechana L'Chaver. Someone will go ahead and allude to his friend by another name. I guess Kilo a nickname. And so if you have a nickname of a neder, it's a neder. Of Cherem, it's Cherem. Of Nazir, it's Nazir. A Shavuos is Shavuos. Whatever it is, it's going to be what? As if you said openly a nikaneder. Remember, guys, we spoke out three shittas. There's ikaneder, there's kinoi, and there's yad. So ikaneder is obviously you say openly, this piece of meat is usher upon me like a carbon. That's ikaneder. Good. If this is in front of you and you say kinidrei tzadikim, okay, or you say a yad. That this should be like any yad that we spoke out, yadayim mechichos. aha, nami, whatever, if you hold Yai. But what about a kinui? What are kinuyim? So that's the discussion now. And kinuyim seem to be words that we can go ahead and interplace, in place of. And we spoke at the Machloikis on Daf Beis and Beis between Rabbi Yochanan, who said it's the lashon of the goyim, and Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, who says it's the lashon shebadulam chachamim. Says the Mishnah. Ha'omer, someone says, koinim, koinich, koines, hari elu kinuyim lekarbin. The animal that's there will be a carbon. Chayrik, chayrif, chayrif, chayrik, chayrich, chayrif, hari elu kinuyim lechayrim. We said, well, this is not chayim lebedek abayis, this is not chayim lekohanim, this is dooming something like a asr, it's mamish a neder, this thing is asr upon you. Nozik, noziach, paziach, hari elu kinuyim lenaziris. Shruis, shrusa, shkuka, noider b'mohi, hari elu kinuyim l'shruas. These two l'shainas would all be kinuyim l'shruah. Noider b'mohi, guys, is going to mean you make a shruah b'mohi in the name of Moshe Rabbeinu. Noider b'mohi is Moshe Rabbeinu. It's very fascinating. You didn't know that Mohi is Moshe. Okay? So it says the Gemara, very, very straightforward Gemara. Itmar, kinuyim, Rabbi Yochanan Amar, loshen umois hein. It's the lashon of the umois. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Omer, lashon shebadulim chachamim. It's the lashon that the chachamim came up with. Now, I'm not going to tell you what I thought because probably it's wrong, but the Rishonim say the following: that Rabbi Yochanan is being much more limited. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish is expansive. Why so? Let's say take the lashon of koinim. Let's take one guys. For example, one in Eretz Yisrael. When a person says koinim, it means carbon. In Italy, it has no meaning. In the United States, it has no meaning. No matter where you are in the world, with the exception of Eretz Yisrael, it has no meaning. Says Rabbi Yochanan, lashon umois hein. If the umois don't speak that lashon, it doesn't work. It would only work in Eretz Yisrael, the lashon of koinim. That's the only place we say it means a kinoi. However, like Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, who says it's the lashon shebadulim chachamim, meaning when you say koinim, no matter where you are, it's as if you said carbon. That's what it is. That's what it means. This is the lashon that the Chacham came up with. So Rabbi Yochanan is being more exclusive, where Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish will be more expansive in terms of explaining, right? That's the way they explain the Gemara, the difference between the two, right? So our Mishnah, our Gemara explained on the Amid Beis, the way we learned in the Ran, that like Rabbi Yochanan, it's a daraisa, it's a lashon daraisa. Like Reb Shimon ben Lakish would be the Rabbana. That's the way the Ran explained it on Beis Amid Beis. Itmar kinuyim Rabbi Yochanan lashon umois hein Reb Shimon ben Lakish Omer lashon shebadulim chachamim liyos noida boy. It's the lashon that they came up with. The chinu Omer the chaydish. Where do you see such a lashon? The chaydish shebadu miliboy. But that he came up with his heart. The time of might the kinu rabbanim kinuyim. So what's the reason they came up with kinuyim? What's the reason? You know what? Why say all of a sudden? You go through Shas, speak like a person. Why are you coming up with these strange languages? Why did they come? No, they must have wanted to avoid something. There's a problem over here where just say carbon. In other words, this is us upon me like a carbon. Say the word carbon. Why say the word koinim or koinich? Naziach, pasiach. Why these strange words? It's really the Gemara's kasha. And for the Gemara, the loy lema carbon. We don't want you to say carbon. Harei like carbon. We don't want you to say that. We don't want you to say carbon. The lema carbon. What's the real? Say carbon. Hey, read my lips. Carbon. Like what's wrong with saying the word carbon? It says Gemara dilma oma carbon lashem. Right? The Gemara v'lema carbon lashem. In other words, say carbon lashem. It says Gemara dilma oma la Hashem v'lema carbon. You might say this animal is to Hashem and not say the word carbon. The kamafik shem shemayim v'atala. Very interesting. We just had the Gemara before. But putting a person in neither, it was Maska Shem Shemayim. Going along those lines, the Gemara, I think it's shmak as anything. But why do we speak out, guys? What's the koyach of Masechta Nedarim? What's the power of the human being? It's the ruach memalala. It's the nefesh chaya of the person. It's the use of one's language. So now the Gemara is stressing, you have the koyach to use one language, be careful. You got to be very careful. Because if you say Hashem's name about Torah, think about what your language is and what it means, and kaviyachol, what you're really saying. Let's avoid that at all costs. Let's avoid that at all costs. And it gives it a thematic look at how bad to be Mevatel Shem Shemayim is. Not only saying the Shem Hashem, it's the gift that Hashem gave you that you're misusing to say the Shem Hashem. It makes it arrogant, makes it worse. That's why we're stressing down in this Masechta. All of a sudden, you pop up with, you're in need if you say Shem Hashem. And over here, the same thing, Karban Hashem. I think it's a beautiful hezber of what is going on over here, right? Why we're so makbid. Why we're so makbid. The Tanya, Reb Shimon Oimer Amid Beis, Reb Shimon says, Hinayin shlayoma adam lashem oila, lashem mincha, lashem taida, lashem shlamim. Your mamish come along. Your mamish, you want to make an adava. You want to schlep to the Beis Hamikdash. You want to bring a carbon. You want to get close to the Rabbi Shalom. How do you know you shouldn't say Lashem Oila, Lashem Mincha, Lashem Toil, Lashem Shlamim, Tamalaymer, carbon Lashem? In other words, you say the word Hashem afterwards, not before, because you may stop after Hashem. Umat Mazeh Shalein Niskaven Elo Lahaska Shem Shemayim Ala Carbon, Amrataira, carbon Lashem. Madach, a person who wants to go ahead and bring a carbon. We're makbid not to say Hashem. Carbon Lashem Levatola Alachas Kama Vakama, to say Levatola certainly so. So therefore, it gives us a good understanding of.
I swear to.
Yeah, I swear to, right? How many? Thank you. People say it all the time. People say it's amazing to me. You know, I'll tell you something fascinating. It's become very popular over the years to say, "Oh my G-D," and the girls say it in school all the time, and it drives me nuts. So we had a campaign of OMG of trying to get rid of that. So first, I said, so what should you say? Oh my gosh. It turns out gosh is a kinoi for G-O-D. God, they went ahead, they didn't want people to say it, so they changed it from oh my G-O-D to oh my G-O-S-H. So therefore I had to change it to oh my goodness.
But is that a real kinoi?
Yeah, they say that G-O-S-H is what the Goyim, what they made. They made, yeah. That gosh is a kinoi. Because gosh is a kinoi for Hashem's name. Yeah, I don't look it up in the lesson, but I heard this from more than one person.
Wow.
More than one person. So it's fascinating that even in the English language, there was a sense of staying away from saying Hashem's name. So the whole reason for kinuyim is this reason. Okay, now the Gemara is very easy. Let's finish up. The Gemara goes straight forward. And says the Gemara the following. Let us say kitanoi. Let's say the machloikis between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, whether it's lashon umais or it's lashon shebalun chachamim. In fact, it's the machloikis tanoim. Beishamayimim kinoi kinuyim. The kinoi of a kinoi is asurim. It will be asa to say. If you use it, asa would be the neder would be us, not asa to say. It would be a good neder. The object that you set it on would not be asa, would be mutter. So my love, it's lashon umais. So therefore, it's not a specific lashon, but as we were just discussing, if in the language that means that, it would be asa. So whatever moniker you're going to give it, kinui, kinuyim, the bottom line is, if in that place you get clarity that means something that's asa, it'll be asa. And that would be Beishamai, and that would be Rabbi Yochanan. And therefore, since the Chachamim never stated anything such kinui, kinuyim, it doesn't exist. So let's say it's machlokes tanoim, a very nice pshat. Says like the kuliyalma kinui lashon umes. Everyone holds lashon. Even Beis Hillel holds lashon umes. So why should it be? Why should it be mutter then? Shamay Sabri bahani nami mishtoy umes. Beis Hillel Sabri bahani loy mishtoy umes. What do they do? Use it. In other words, the chachamim lashon umes. Everyone, no one holds that it's lashon shabbat chachamim. Everyone holds lashon umes. The question is, do the umes use it or not? So Beis Shammai says they do. Beis Hillel says they don't. Maybe it's machlokes mitzias. I don't know. People are saying Beis Shammai Savri gasminun kinuyim mishum kinuyav. The reason why we say it's usher, because if it's not usher, you may come to use a kinui, which would be usher and what? No, it's the rabbanon in nature. It's the rabbanon in nature. Lashon umay saying guys is from the daf. Let's go through it. Lashon daf beis amid beis. Lashon kinui is deraisa. It's a neder deraisa. Kinuyim is a neder derabbanan. Why? If you don't say kinui is kinui, if you can say is mutter, you may come to mistakenly kinui is mutter, and then you'll be over on a neder of layachal devarai because your neder was chal. To avoid that, we'll go ahead and say, even though midaraisa it's not chal the neder, why since kinuyim atu kinui, therefore that is based shanai. That is based shanai, beautiful shot. Based Hilasavi, based Hil's of the opinion, loigas rinan kinuyim mishum kinuyim. We don't go ahead and make such a gesera. Good. We don't go ahead and make such a gesera. Guys, good. That's the machlekes.
Yeah.
So let's now go through the different kinuyim, a bunch of very, very, very strange words. Let's see what we got. Hechi dami kinuyim. What would be the kinuyim? The double. Tan Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says, mak namna, mak nachna, mak nasna. All of these would be kinuyim. These would be kinuyim of kainim, of carbon. Hechi dami kinuyim decherim. Tani mafsha'a. The only place in Shas I've seen this is the name of a Tana. Tani is a brisa, guys. Mafsha'a. This is the name of a Tana. Charochim, charofim. Hina kinuyim v'naziris would be Tani Rabbi Yosef. Machazakna, manzachna, and mafichna. Iboilahu. Mifchazna mai, mischazna mai, misazna mai. Are these all Lashon Naziris? Amalei Ravina l'Ravashi kinma mai. When you say kinma, what does that mean? Not kinwa. Kinwa is zicha asa. It's mutzamachas miyos. Kinwa is asa. There's no shaila about kinwa. Okay, we're not discussing kinwa, right? No discussion of kinwa. But kinma mai. Koinim kamar doesn't mean koinim. By dilma kinma besim kamar. Maybe it means smelly cinnamon. Amalei Ravacha breder of Chila Ravashi kina mai. What if it says lashon of kina? Is kina shet hanagolis kamar? Does it mean a chicken coop? By dilma lashon the koinim means koinim. The Gemara says tiboi. What does tiboi mean? Mesechta Nedarim. Teku. Right? Tiboi Mesechta Nedarim is what means teku. Says the Gemara, kinuyim b'shvuas heichidami. What exactly are the kinuyim of shvuas? Shavuel, shavusiel, shekukiel. Fred the Gemara Shvuel. Why would you think Shvuel is a kinui? Shvuel ben Gershom mashma. Shvuel is one of the sons of Gershom. In Divrei Yomim, it's the name of a person. It says Gemara El. Don't say Shvuel, but say Shivuvael. Shivuvael, Shvusiel, Shukiel. That would be the kinuyim of Shvuas. Ama Shmuel, Ama Ishva Le'ama Klum. If a person says Ashivsa, it doesn't mean anything. Ashkika Le'ama Klum. He says Ashkika doesn't mean anything. Karishna Le'ama Klum. If it says Karishna, right, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, what about Neder B'mohi? The final thing of the Mishnah, Neder B'mohi Hariel Kinuyim, it's a kinuyim of Shua. Tanya, the Shimon Gamliel Loimer, Ha'omer B'mohi Loimer Klum. If you just say the word Mohi, it doesn't mean anything. B'maimasa, the Ama Mohi, but if he says Maimasa, the Shua, the Ama Mohi, that Moshe Rabbeinu said, Hari Elu Kinuyim L'Shvua, this would be a kinui for Shvua. That would be a kinui Shvua. So let's see the Ran on this one. Tanya Shum Eloim and Neder B'moy Eloim Klum B'Moshe Hamamoy Hari Elu Kinuyim L'Shvua. V'Hachi Perushay. The Shim Galil Lefushay Masnisanasi. He's coming to explain the lashon of the Mishnah of Nadra B'Mohi. The Chik Tani Neder B'Mohi like the Amar B'Mohi V'Lechud doesn't mean he just said the word Mohi. Ela the Amar B'Mumsa the Amar Mohi. With the mumsa, with the shvua that Mohi said. Klaimar, guys, the mumsa of Mohi, you know what that means? The shvua shenishba Moshe. The shvua that Moshe, the mumsa in the shvua, the Amar Mohi that Moshe said. Where did Moshe make a shvua? He made a shvua to Yisro. It says, Vayoel Moshe l'sheves es ha'ish. He made a shvua that he's going to stay in Midyan, that he won't leave without asking Rishus. Moshe did not leave till he asked Rishus from Yisro. So that's Vayoel Moshe. And therefore, Mishmachi Tanan Nader b'Mohi, the Ilam Shvua Shekuka b'Mohi Hayamashma, the Amma b'Mohi b'Lchud. In other words, if you would say Shvua of Mohi, it wouldn't make any sense. Neder Sha'ama Mohi is that it's Mashma, the Neder that he made, and therefore, even though it's a lashon of Shvua, the Chalois of the Neder is the lashon of Nadar b'Mohi. Behind the conversation Galil, the Mumsa the Amamohi. If Mumsa, the Shua that Moyi stated. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a great Shabbos.